an important part to slut shaming is that, you know, the people who do it are they're not going to change what they're doing, even if, regardless if they know it's right or wrong, they're not going to change because, you know, someone tells them to. They're going to change when they want to, and when they have come to a point in their lives when they see no purpose in it, or they see the destruction of it and how it can really affect people. But I think an important part that we need to remember is that it's not necessarily, you know, it's not the what they're doing. It's not that and their opinions that define us. It's how we react to them. So, I mean, it's asking a lot, because it's asking you to, because it's easier said than done. I mean, when people say things about you, it can really hurt you and really affect you, and they might not even know it. They could have just thought it was a joke, or just like, I mean, I feel like most times slut shaming happens because a person feels threatened by another person, and so they try to push them down and make them small so that they can feel better about themselves. And honestly, it's really sad. I feel really sad for those people in general. And I think slut shaming is something that happens to a lot of us, whether or not you know it. Because personally, I've been called called names or things because of what I was wearing, and I like being told to change, and it's like it's nothing wrong with how I was dressing or how I was acting. It's you sexualizing what I was doing, you taking it that way. That was your view put onto what I am, because everyone's an individual. Everyone is expresses who they are, and whether or not you like it, it is not your job to define them, and you cannot define them. Only you can define yourself. So I think that's a really good thing to remember.
All the social media going on nowadays, slut-shaming becomes a very large topic of interest. I think a lot of girls, the way they promote themselves on social media becomes kind of a problem for other people, just because they're posting a picture in a bikini doesn't mean they're a slut. And I think a lot of the time people define it as that, and that's not what it is. I think a lot of the whole concept of things like even porn put a lot of slut shaming on girls. I think a lot of men look at women who, hook up with a lot of people as slut shaming, but they shouldn't shame them for that. That's what makes girls go out and do it again. So I think the whole industry of promoting yourself on social media, all that, has really exemplified the whole concept of slut shaming, and I think it really should be stopped, because a lot of women aren't sluts who people call sluts and call hoes and all that. So I think it's really important that women stand up for what they believe in and stand up for themselves when it comes to things like slut shaming, because they should speak up for all women in general, because that's the most important part.
Many people think that as Americans, we live in a world of gender equality. People believe that sexism isn't really seen on a day-to-day basis, and so that maybe it doesn't exist. However, it is really ingrained in the very nature of our society through slut-shaming and through the culture we've established that revolves around slut-shaming and the negative connotations that women feel when associated with sex. Many young girls, especially, are affected by slut-shaming today. I personally was affected by slut-shaming before I even knew what it meant to be a quote-unquote slut. The idea in our culture is that females have the role of being delicate and pure and virginal. And yet there's all of this pressure on us to be over-sexualized as well. And then we get shamed for the over-sexualization of our bodies on top of that. Through clothing choices, through music, through the media constantly, there are undertones of slut-shaming, of just the very word slut makes women feel that they are wrong for giving into any sexual desires they have, which are human and natural, as opposed to how our society views men with sex and how we have the saying, oh, that's just boys being boys. Slut shaming is a huge problem in the world today, and especially in our culture, and we need to actively work to stop it and to create a safe environment for girls to grow up in and for girls to express themselves in.
You hear about girls that like sleep with like even just two people, like they're automatically like a horrible person, or like they're automatically like seen just for like sexual reasons, which I think is like extremely like just really stupid. I mean, it's not even that big of a deal. I mean, there's plenty of guys that do exactly the same thing, but like they don't get any recognition, or like they're not ostracized. Yeah, they're not like pointed out for like their actions, whereas like if you're a female, like it automatically makes you like an outcast, or like someone who's like not good enough for society.
The topic of slut shaming really interests me. I think it's a very big issue that's kind of ignored in our society or even mocked. I think it's super prevalent in high school, and it can relate to almost anyone. Either you're the one shaming, or you're the one being shamed, or you're even a bystander. And you hear people talking about other women, usually, who are the target, and about their actions or the choices they made. The antidote to slut shaming is it's hard. For people who are shamed, I think the answer is confidence. If you're confident with yourself and you're confident with the choices that you make, nothing that people can say can hurt you or affect you in a way where you feel as if you're being shamed, or you're even shameful of the actions that you wanted, that you once wanted to make. And for people to stop slut shaming, that's extremely hard. It's just like to stop judging. I think we're all born with an innate kind of desire to judge in a way. Like, we all do it, we all lean towards it. But shame is not an emotion that we were born with. Shame is something that we feel and that we get put upon us due to society, due to these preconceived ideas of what we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. And so if we don't fall into those preconceived little areas of life, then we're shamed or we're judged for it. It's going to be really hard to get this message out to everybody and to hopefully one day stop it. But I think it's really important. I think it's important to know that we each have an individual right to make decisions and to make choices, and to not be blamed or judged or shamed for these choices. Especially, slut shaming has a big issue with double standards, not just between men and women, because that's the most, known one, but that's not necessarily even true. When I did research on this topic, it was found that double standards are very prominent within women against women. Women belittle other women because of their sexual choices to make their own actions seem better or seem cleaner. This topic dealt a lot with the words dirty or clean, and I think that's really interesting. A lot of the time when you hear people slut shaming, you hear the words whore, you hear slut, you hear she's trashy, which is dirty. So I think it's interesting that we belittle other women when all we want as women is to be respected. But we will never earn that respect if we can't respect each other. And then we expect men to have this, undying respect for us. But if we can't respect ourselves and we can't respect other women going through the same struggles that we all go through every day, there's no way that we can expect men to respect our decisions and to respect us. So I think a really big part of slut shaming is understanding respect understanding these double standards that are between not only men and women, but women and women. And then understanding that confidence is a key component to kind of coming above this shame that we feel. I also think it's important for people to realize, like, for a lot of people who want to stop slut shaming, and for a lot of feminists, we want to stop the word slut. We want to take back that word and get rid of that negative connotation that it has. There's this event, and it's called the Slut Walk, and it's in order to take back this negative connotation of the word slut and kind of re-own it and make it our own, and to stop being like, oh, she's a slut because she's gotten with multiple partners, or this like undying realization that if you have multiple partners, that's against the societal norm that we've all created and that we've all grown up to learn. So I think there's many components to slut shaming, and it's not as simple as everyone thinks. Everyone just thinks, oh, you're a slut or you're not. But the whole point is, no, you're not a slut. We want to take this word back and make everyone realize that this word doesn't have to be attached to this sexual freedom that women want to feel. We want to be able to feel free with our choices and not be blamed for them. Just like dealing with double standards with men and women, a man who gets with multiple women is usually known as a stud or a player, or, oh, like, that's the guy. But a girl is known as trashy, whore, beat is the new one. So it's very difficult for women to feel free in their sexuality when we're constantly being put down and belittled when we make a decision that we want to make. So there's really no direct answer. It's kind of up to the individual themselves. And also, to stop slut shaming, it's completely up to that person. I have recently, after writing my research paper, I've really taken to note, like, any time that I've said a word that is shameful, I've tried to be like, okay, no, I won't say that. Because it's kind of stepping out of your body and stepping out of your mentality and realizing that that's that person's decision. And it all comes down to that. It's not your choice. That was that person's choice. It has nothing to do with you. So for you to sit there and shame them for something that they did and doesn't affect you, it's not your place. So, yeah.